YouTubers, and welcome back to the second half of our custom created recruits here in NCAA 14. Hi, welcome to the Highland Scotties Team Builder Dynasty, and this is a special edition of Scotties Sports Talk. So we are back here today, and we're going to finish the last 10 players that you guys recruited, or you guys are not recruited, you guys have submitted for recruitment for this upcoming season. For these players you'll see possibly in season 5 of this series. So we'll start off here with this young man here, Daniel De Santos. There's actually two of them. There's Daniel and there's Dave. They're brothers, both from Topeka, Kansas. And we'll take a look here at Daniel and read it up on Daniel. He does have a twin brother by the name of David De Santos, and both are from the Topeka area. And of course, Daniel is a little stronger than his brother David. Daniel is, of course, bored 1 minute sooner than David, and he does not let him. He reminds him. I actually got a chance to talk to him in a conference call, and it was funny. He's like, hey, I'm the older brother. I was born 1 minute, sooner than you. I'll answer the first question. So a little bit of a civil rivalry there, but both of them are great on the field. Both are defensive players. Both are one plays left and one plays right outside linebacker. So that's gonna be very nice. And having that twin connection there, I think Coach Tate Bonds would like that, because both brothers know where each other are on the field at all times. Of course, they are big, huge fans, of course, of the Kansas City Chiefs, which are just right down the highway there on Interstate 70 in Kansas City, Missouri. They say they try to go to games both for the Chiefs and the Royals as much as they possibly can. They're hoping that this year for Christmas that they'll get tickets to to one of the two sporting events here this year. So trying to see if they can get tickets there. But of course, they have dreams and aspirations to play in college football, and of course Coach Teddy Bonds is talking to both of them. K-State and KU are both looking at the brothers. Now both brothers say they want to do it as a buddy system. They want to go at the same school, so if one gets recruited one way, the other one wants to recruit to come in to the same school. Now that doesn't always necessarily work, but Coach Teddy Bonds says he's going to try to do his best to see if he can get both of them to join. If you guys don't remember, I believe back in season 2, or the start of season 2, we had two brothers, the Graham brothers, Ben and I can't think of his brother's name, Ben and Bart. That's what it was. We have Ben on their team. Bart, on last minute, he decided to go to Nebraska, and of course we'll see him in week 1. He's already started. This is his sophomore season up there, and we'll see the brothers. And of course, won't go head to head because they both play the same position. But of course, we'll see Bart coming up in that first game against Nebraska coming up in week 1. We'll have more about that in the preview video of that first game. But David De Santos, there you see there, also great numbers there for him. And both brothers are just really wanting to see what they can do on the collegiate level. They've also got a couple offers to a couple of small schools if by chance if one doesn't get into a power ranked school, or like a Big 12, Big 10, whatever conference type of school, they are looking at a JUCO level school, or maybe even a small, like a Division 1. I know locally Washburn and Emporia State are looking at them, and of course Coach Teddy Bonds has connections to has some friends there and whatnot. And he would like to, they decide to go that route, he will definitely open the door for them if they want to transfer out after 2 years there and come to Highland. So we'll see how that goes here, but we're hoping the best we can go after those two. Now, coming up, another player that we're looking at from our pipeline here, and that is Travis Rashford. Travis Rashford is from Winter Park, Florida, and believes wholeheartedly that he can be a game changer in college football. He plays the safety position, and of course safety players like Ed Reed and many others came through the college and of course in the National Football League. He wants to be one of those type of players that are hard-hitting type of guy. Decent speed at 85, which will see some of his numbers here in just a bit, but he definitely wants to be one of those greats that plays in the game of football. Now, the thing is, he does have some issues with injuries. He's had a slight, well, I wouldn't say slight case of concussions. He's had several concussions, and that's one thing that Coach Teddy Bonds is worried about with Travis. Travis, he plays, to the whistle. He's the type of guy that he will not come off the field, and especially in the gym. He's a bit of a gym rat there, and he hopes to try to play football. Now he knows the issue with protecting players like that, and he knows about that on everything. But at the same time, he says that he wants to go out there and play the sport that he loves. He's also a big MMA fan. He's of course a Conor McGregor fan, and nowadays who isn't. But he's also had aspirations to go into that profession too. He has been training the last 3 years on that, and it actually started when he was in junior high. He did a little bit of boxing, and then he started, he's kind of went dabble in Taekwondo, and next thing you know it, he started something there. So, and some you could say some of his injuries came from, probably concussions came from also from MMA. So he's definitely a contact type of person when it comes to sports in general. So, Colby Snodgrass, as we go out to another pipeline here in California, of course, Coach Teddy Bonds has some connections out there, and he is looking at Colby Snodgrass. Now, Colby Snodgrass is from, let me see here, Costa Mesa, California. He is 6'3", 315 pounds. He had an injury his junior year, just last season, where he missed the whole year. Now, even though he didn't put no great numbers up, we looked at his numbers there from his freshman and sophomore year, and there were some pretty impressive numbers for him, even at that level. But last year, he got in a car injury. Of course, it was investigated. He was not drinking or driving. He wasn't under influence of any kind. He was blindsided. He was pretty much T-boned, and he was thrown out of the vehicle. So he did not wear a seatbelt there. Didn't have any serious injuries there. He is thankful that he's alive, but he says that he was on the sidelines just contemplating about playing football and wondering how he can get on the field there. And of course, his coach said, hey, you got to heal up and show what you can do your senior year. So we're waiting to see what he can do for his senior year. Hopefully he can put up some decent numbers there for his senior year, and we we're hoping the best for him. He says he's doing good, and he cannot wait to get back on the field this year. But good strength, 85 strength. As for tackle, pretty reasonable tackler. Same thing with power, finesse, and block shedding. But yeah, the injuries, we're just kind of working on we're trying to get a physical on that and see what he is. But he says he is ready for his senior year, and he's trying to put up some good numbers here to get some scholarships there. He was already being looked at by Alabama, Clemson, and I believe Florida State, and I want to say it was UCLA that was already, and that was his junior year, or his sophomore year when they were looking at him. So they were already looking at him and seeing he was pretty impressive. All right, Kevin Dexhart is your next player that you see there, 6'3", 250 pounds. He's from Delray Beach, Florida. He's a defensive end, and he's a very physical player. He played 3 sports: baseball, basketball, and football. He has 2 older brothers who currently right now are overseas, and they both tower 6'6", 275. Wow, those are big boys there. They both play in Spain, and they're doing pretty well there. They've, I think, dropping double doubles. They're on opposite teams, of course, but they are pretty impressive. So Dexhart has a pretty good pedigree of playing in sports, but he's the only one out of the brothers that have played who is going at pursuing football. And we asked him that, and he said it wasn't because of mom and dad. He's kind of the black sheep. He's kind of the oddball of the boys there. So the two brothers played in Spain. He's here in the United States. Of course, he would love to play on this level of football, and of course, maybe even playing on the professional side. He says if he doesn't go professionally here in the States, he always would go to and take a chance here if he gets a shot at it playing in the Canadian Football League there. So, and of course, you got the XFL coming up. We'll be starting their season here really soon. So he would love to continue playing football at any level for his sake there. So definitely a kid there that we can definitely use there in the defensive end. Like I said, defensive end, really, to be quite honest, the defense is the side of the ball that we're really got a lot of question marks on, because we got a lot of young guys. A lot of guys that are going to be in their junior or sophomore year playing, and they didn't get too much time. And there was times we were trying to put them in there, but yeah, this is going to be a really good test here. And I think Coach Teddy Bonds purposely did that just to test the mettle of his team here, as they're playing pretty much the same teams they played last year, with a couple exceptions. You got K-State, KU, and I think I want to say like two others are new on our schedule this year. So that's definitely something we're going to have to look at when it comes to defense. All right, let's continue going, and this time let's go on the offensive side of the ball here. We'll take a look at Eric Rusev, 6'4", 286 pounds. He is from Sioux City, Nebraska, and he is a pretty good sized boy there. His parents are from the Ukraine, and they became United States citizens in the early 90s. And of course, Eric was born and raised right there in Nebraska. And Eric's parents are both biochemists, so he has got a pretty good head on his shoulders there. He grew up as a fan of soccer. He's a huge fan of DC United, and of course, he follows soccer quite often. And of course, he also follows the Premier League. We asked him, for his size, why is he not? I mean, he's a solid guy. I mean, 286, and he's like, that sport's not meant for me. I love watching the sport. I love the strategy and everything like that. But I knew that football was something. And his dad's not a. Dad's about he said 230. So his mom is she's a pretty good. She's a pretty petite lady. Yeah, for the most part there, he said, he doesn't think he could make it in the sport of soccer, even though he loves it as much as he does. He definitely wants to play football, and of course, he grew up watching Huskers play, and they are definitely taking a shot at him. So that's somebody we're going to look at. So now let's go ahead and move on here. You see Sheldon Sherman, his little brother here, Shane Sherman. Yes, there's another Sherman from Wisconsin, and of course, Sheldon Sherman, we love him. He was such a great resource on that defensive team and whatnot. On the defensive side of the ball, defensive end also, just like his big brother, 6'5", 275 pounds there, and of course he is the younger brother of Sheldon Sherman. And a lot of people are saying, a lot of the press and a lot of the scouts are saying that this young man is just as good, or if not better, than his younger brother. So that is something definitely we'll be looking forward to. And Coach Teddy Bonds, this is definitely one of those top guys on his list that he wants to bring in. As much as Sheldon did a lot of things there, if the scouts are saying what they are saying about this young man, as good as he is, if he sees Sheldon do it, he knows that Shane can do it too. So we'll see what he'll do there. Of course, great block shedding. Or not great, but above average block shedding there. I would say I've seen him in some game field there. He's pretty decent there. Good head on his shoulders, good awareness, and of course, decent tackle there for his size, and of course, just monster strength. So we're really hoping that he is coming up on there. Now he's not as big as Sheldon. He's a little small, a little more trim. But he's definitely got the strength, a little more power than Sheldon did when he came his freshman year. So we're definitely hoping that we can nab Shane there and you know, continue this line there with him. So we got 3 brothers or 3 siblings from last season who could possibly come in here. We got Sheldon Sherman, Axel Flanagan from the last episode, the previous video, and of course, I just now realized I just had the 3rd one there and I just messed it up. So I'll continue on now. Here we go to Marcus Karev. Marcus Karev from Canyon Lake, Texas, best friends and cousin of Riley Karev, who is or excuse me, I should say Riley Kent, who is also on this list here for these players. Both Kent, Karev, and there's a 3rd player with a K, and they call him the Killer, 3 Ks, and these young men were on the offensive line there for Canyon, for the I'm trying to think of the high school there. I forgot what it was called in Canyon, but I should say they were known as the Wall. All 3 of them are offensive linemen there. The other 3rd young man there, and I cannot, right off the top of my head right now, I thought I had the notes in front of me, but I can't think of the young man's name. But he's still in high school, or he's a junior right now. So we're trying to find out who he is and whatnot. But when we do, we'll let you guys know. But we're definitely going to try to go after Karev and Kent there next season. There you see the numbers there, and yeah, pretty impressive guys there, or pretty impressive young men there. Speed, strength, agility, and awareness and acceleration. This is a big boy that can hustle out there. And I just thought of it. Sumo wrestler. He's definitely just like the other young man I mentioned earlier. Just really good. Just knocking guys around. And just doing a good job of blocking up on the line and not letting guys get in there. I believe for 2 seasons straight, Karev did not let no one go in there to sack his guy, and he's been looked at by several schools here, some big time schools, and of course it's going to be a long shot for us to go after him, and we'll see what we can do with those, with these young men here, because these are some decent players here that we got from you guys and whatnot, and by looking at the draft board early on, and I'll try to show you guys that, or not draft board, I should say recruiting board, in the preview video, maybe somewhere in that video I might show you guys that some of these guys are it's gonna be a tough way to go. So we'll definitely have to try to see what we can do. There you see Kent there, also that I mentioned, also from Canyon Lake, Texas. Canyon Lake, Texas. And of course, like I said, he's cousins to Marcus. And they also, like I said, want to go on the buddy system there, so that'll help them out. And we'll see. We'll try to see if that can work out for us and for them being on there. But yeah, these are 2 guys that we love to have the offensive line. That is a scarce position that we're going to be also looking at for the course of the season. And I think having these 2 young guys on there, I think that we would have a very impressive line going into season 5. So we'll have to see what happens. But we'll try to really do our best to recruit and try to get these guys to come in and be a part of the Highland Scotties. Like I said, there's a lot of history can be made. They know this. Coach Teddy Bonds has told them that, and they're really impressed for what Highland's done in the short time they've done it. And of course, they just said, Coach, just show us more. What else can you guys do? And so Coach Teddy Bonds is going to try to do his best to impress them. And it's going to be a tough schedule. It's not a light schedule. He wanted to put some challenges in front of this team and see what they can do. Not just roll over and not be as a fluke or anything. They really want to test the metal here. So I think we have a pretty good schedule coming up here, and we'll show you guys that in that preview video coming up here in a couple of days. But finally, the last player here on our list here in the video to wrap up this is Rocco Bennett. There you see Rocco Bennett, 6 foot, 280, from our Dexhart, Texas. Of course, you know that little town sits right on the Texas and Arkansas state lines there. So I've been there before. Beautiful city. But he's a local all-star for the football team there. Dad was a former football player who's pretty much a journeyman for the last for 10 years in the NFL. He played fullback, and he also played a little bit of kicker and punter. And for a small time there, he also played in the I wouldn't say short. Well, I guess it was kind of short-lived. The European NFL Europe. He played there for a while there too. Really, I think last 2 or 3 years of his career there, he was in NFL Europe. Yeah, he said he had a lot of fun. He doesn't really remember it, but he does remember some things about that. Going over to what was it? He said he'd been to Paris. He went to Disneyland in Paris and all that kind of stuff. So he says he remembers some of those things, and then traveling, going to Germany and seeing all those, and seeing former players and stuff like that. He really, his dad really enjoyed that, and his dad even was a coach there for a while. He even coached in some of the arena football team for a while there too. So. He also helped coach some. He actually, I'm gonna say, if I remember correctly, he said that his dad was there when Warner left the Iowa Barnstormers. I think that's who that team was that he was on before he left and went on to St. Louis. So a little bit of fact there, a little bit of some news that he wanted to share with us. There you see the overview right there. And there you see some of the players there for offensive defense that we have currently. And, of course, some of the positions in need. And that's what we currently look at right now with the board, as we do have 5 targeted there for the defensive end, 4 targeted for the defensive tackle, only 1 right now for the middle linebacker, but that'll change as we'll be adding and dropping players as we go the course of the season, because some guys will make early will sign with us early, hopefully, or will end up dropping off our boards because they've just too far. We can't reach them. There you see the pipelines there for the pipeline states quarters right, and we have a chance to lose Nebraska next season, also Texas, Florida, and California. So that's why we're targeting some of these guys you see in these last two, in this video and the last video. Also, we got Kansas. No new pipeline for next year at all, but we're hoping that will change on a turnaround. Other than that, there's you see the rest of the states there that we have not targeted just yet. But give us time. We'll try to do our best to find some. Not every state's gonna have players that we're looking for. But this is what the current draft board looks like or recruiting board looks like right now. And there you see some of the players that we've been looking at. And there you see a nice gym right there. 76 overall there. We got 100% scouting for majority of our players. I believe the first 10 or 11 or something like that, we recruited, and then we're going to go back and recruit the rest, or scout the rest of those. And then, of course, we'll be adding dropping players. Now, what you see in this list right here, this is not what the rankings are right now of importance, from most important being at the top and to the least important being at the bottom. They're just how we just have them set up right now. Eventually, we will have the board set up where we're going to have the most important guy that we're going to go after to the least important guy. So this is not final. That board will constantly move around here. Of course, you won't see the board as too often here unless there is a change. If we get someone signed, well, pretty much that's the only time you guys will see is when we sign someone or someone signs with us and receives a scholarship. So as time goes on, we will move guys around there. But for the most part here, I'm pretty confident that we can get, I want to say almost literally, we scouted 20, I think we scouted 35, or recruited, or have 35 on the board list that I actually put on. But I really think we probably can get 15 good players out of this class this season. I really, truly feel like we can do that. And to order to do that, we have to impress these kids on the when we're on the field here. So that means we really got to play really well, especially to the Shermans, to the kids that are going to Flanagan and Cannon. We really got to impress those guys. Not saying they don't want to go to school here, but that they're really being targeted by big time schools, and if we want those guys to stick around here and play for us for next season, we really have to really go bonkers on trying to get these young men signed. So that is the recruiting board. That is the recruiting special. Hopefully your recruit gets signed to our team. Now, the special announcement I was going to make, well, thing is, next season we're going to do something different with recruiting. We're going to do something. I don't know. It's going to be something where you guys exclusively can. I'm going to pick basically it's going to be the first 5 people, maybe 6, that can submit their player. I'm going to automatically put you guys on the team, legit. Now, if you really want your player to be on the team, you want to make sure you have a spot for past seasons. You guys can be a part of our Patreon there. There's 3 different tiers. They're pretty reasonable, from $1 up to $5. If you want to give more, that's fine. Doesn't matter. But whatever you guys can give, that'll definitely help you. That definitely will get you on the team regardless, and put you at any position you want and at any overall. Well, of course, the highest overall is 99 overall, but you definitely will be a set, locked in person on this series. For this series or any other series we have here on the channel. So just put that in, I'm putting that in your head right now. But we're gonna do something exclusive where you guys, that's basically 5 players that you guys get first 5 recruits that send in will be like a kind of like a so-called athletic player, where you can play on both sides of the ball, and I'll raise it up to probably about 85 overall on that. So those are some perks that you guys can have if you submitting. I'll tell you more about that as we go through the course of the season here. But yeah, that is something. There's another way you guys can be a part of this series here, but especially on Patreon, definitely it will get you guys in this series if you guys want to be a part of this series or any future or current series right now we have here on the channel. So that is it for this episode of the Highland Scotties Team Builder Dynasty and the custom recruit special. We'll have the preview video coming up very soon. Take on Nebraska. We'll preview that game, talk about that game, and what we're gonna hopefully what our game plan is for that game, and what we have hopefully have in store for that game against Nebraska. This year or this season, Nebraska will be coming to Highland for Week 1 matchup. So that should be a good one here. I cannot wait. But that's it for me. Hit that like if you guys I would really appreciate if you guys hit that like button. Let's try to get 50 likes for this video and for the other video here on the channel. Not to mention, you guys can follow us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Discord. Links are down below in the description. Check us out there. Follow us on Patreon. We have a Patreon page now. Check that out. Be a part of if you really want to be a part of the nation here on the channel, that's definitely a way to be. Helps me out a lot. Helps me produce videos out sooner and more often, and also gets you guys involved even more than ever. So that's it for me. As always, keep yourselves healthy. Go Scotty Nation, and I'll see you guys next time.